we spoke last week. You mentioned a program that you have for first-time home buyers.
Yeah, my name is Dan Allen. I've been a licensed loan officer for 13 years now. The thing about this program is it is just grant money. There's no strings attached. It's up to $10,000 they can use toward payment or closing costs. There's no money that has to be paid back or second lien that's added. And then also they don't have any restrictions on how much income they're making. So it really includes a lot of people and a lot of benefits that you don't see in the other programs out there.
There are some programs that you got to take a course and go through all kind of procedures. Does this one have that?
No, there's no special things really that you have to do. No extra, there's no paperwork you have to fill out. You don't apply for it separately from your loan. So you just, if you meet the address eligibility, you just get approved for a normal conventional mortgage like any other home buyer would.
The metro areas are Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Pompano Beach.
Anywhere in that metropolitan statistical area, there's going to be different addresses and neighborhoods within there that are eligible for the program. Yeah, just being in that area alone doesn't mean that you qualify. So what we have to do is just take your specific address of where you're living right now, which you'd be renting because you do have to be a first-time home buyer. We can just put in that address. It takes less than 30 seconds to put that in, and there's a mapping tool that tells us right away if that address is eligible. The other cool thing about it is it doesn't matter where you want to buy the house. So once you qualify on that, you can buy the house anywhere. It doesn't have to be in that area.
I saw there was a DU feedback approval.
Yeah, so the DU is the desktop underwriter. That's basically once we have an application and your credit, it's a universal software that all the banks use. Once you have that application, you just click a button and it'll give you a decision, approve or refer is what they call when it's not approved, but it'll tell us there right away if that loan's approved. So that's what any lender's looking for before you even start looking at houses, is getting that DU approval. Basically, you just have to be able to approve for the loan itself, and if you are, then you can get the grant money. So where we would start, which is the cool thing, is before we pull credit or do an application or anything, we can check that address just to see if that person would qualify for. From there, if their address is good, then we would do a normal loan application and get them approved just the same as they would for any type of loan.
And the grant is $10,000, or can we get more?
Yeah, the program is set up through the government up to $10,000, and then each particular lender has to come up with their own program and grant amount. So there's other places doing other amounts like $6,000 or $5,000, but we found a lender that'll do that full $10,000. So that's the most that you'll find anywhere.
Okay, so you're giving us the best.
Yeah,
This
is the best it gets. With this grant program, it's a lot different than the down payment assistance programs that you'll hear about, because basically there's always a trade-off, pros and cons for using a normal down payment assistance program. It sounds great at first, but usually those programs, they give you a higher interest rate on your normal mortgage. Usually any money you borrow, they just put on as a second mortgage or a lien that you have to pay back. They usually have income limits. So if you work hard and try and do the best you can for your family, they'll say, oh no, you made too much money, you can't do it. So a lot of people that qualify even for those down payment programs, once they find out, oh, I'm gonna have a higher rate, higher payment, a second mortgage, they're like, this isn't helping me. Versus this program, as I mentioned before, it's just straight up grant money. So it doesn't matter how much you make. If you already have your down payment saved up on your own, you can just take this extra $10,000, apply it wherever you want. There's no strings attached, and you don't have any drawbacks at all whatsoever to do this program.
So thank you so much for briefing us on the Home Ready Fast program. And where do the people find you if they want to connect with you on social?
So I have a website, www.danallenfinance.com, and my Instagram is Dan_mortgageman_UT.
Okay, perfect. And you can always find me at florhomesandrentals.com. Catch us on the next show or meeting.